Hey guys! Welcome back, I'm Fanfic Lover. And today, I've got an emotional and action-packed what-if story for you. What if, after their final battle at the Valley of the End, Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha both died from their injuries before anyone could save them? No heroes arriving at the last second, no miracle rescue, just silence at the end of their greatest clash. But just when everything seemed lost, the Bijuu decided to use one final gift left behind by the Sage of Six Paths, a chance to rewrite fate itself. Now Naruto has been given another chance, a chance to fix every mistake, protect the people he failed, and change the future before tragedy strikes again. But can destiny truly be changed, or will history repeat itself once more? So without wasting any more time, let's dive straight into the Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5. Did the Yondaime just call me Naruto? He knows my name. But from what I am told, he died the day I was born after sealing the QB into me, so how does he know me and why does it feel so good and warm in his presence? Why Yondaime-sama, how do you know my name? The fourth couldn't help give Naruto a sad smile. Well, I am the one who named you, so of course I will know it. You are my son after all. Naruto stared wide-eyed at the man before him. His mind was running through a million thoughts, he couldn't focus on anything. His idol, the man whom everyone in Konoha looked up to, the man he wanted to surpass, and also the man who sealed the QB inside him, condemning him to a life of hatred and scorn, was his own father, the father he never got to know till now. YYYUREMMYYYFFF father? Naruto asked, stuttering in a way that would put Hinata to shame, still not believing that the fourth could be his own father. Yes, I Minato Namikaze, Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, am your father and quite proud to be so, replied Minato, smiling. Naruto was finally able to bring his thoughts together. The Yondaime was his own father. If the blonde were 16 years old, he might have been able to express his emotions through anger and might have punched Minato in the gut, but this Naruto was still a child, a 13-year-old child, so he just burst into tears while falling into his knees. Then why? Naruto asked his father in between sobs. Minato ran up to his son and embraced him tightly. He couldn't hold some tears either. Why did you seal the fox inside me? Why did you leave me? Why did you have to die? I am sorry, son, but at that time I didn't have any other option. The QB was attacking the village and the only way for it to be stopped was for it to be sealed into a newborn child, and I could not ask for someone else's baby. How can I ask for another man's child to be sacrificed when I can't sacrifice my own? Besides, who other than my own son can I trust to be able to hold the QB's power and eventually work with him and become the strongest shinobi ever? What, you wanted me to work with the fox and control its power? Yes, I did. During the Third Shinobi World War, I had to fight the Jinchuriki of the Hachibi. I was amazed by the fact he managed to become friends with his tailed beast and they worked together. That man was a great shinobi. Then I have come across the Jinchurikis of the Gobi and the Yonbi, and they even managed to work well together with their tailed beasts. I was sure that my boy can make friends with the QB one day, and from what I have just learned, you already did. I am so glad. So, you think I can trust Kurama and open the seal? Son, being inside the seal made it so I could always watch over you as well as the QB. 6 years ago, something interesting happened. The explanation is long and I might fade away before I could explain you in detail what had happened. But I can say with certainty that Kurama can be trusted. Oh, okay. But I will tell you this though. Before you, your mother Kushina Uzumaki was the Jinchuriki of the QB no Kitsune. Naruto was again shocked at that. Now for a female Jinchuriki, the time of childbirth is the most difficult time of their lives. At that time, the seal is the weakest. So, your mother was taken to a safe house outside the village a few days before you were born. The location was top secret and heavily guarded. However, A masked man who called himself Madara Uchiha was able to kill all the guards and got to us minutes after you were born. Naruto was too shocked to respond to that. The man killed the Sandame's wife who was assisting your mother in childbirth and took you hostage. Although I managed to get you to safety, he got to your mother and before I could save her, that man ripped the Kyuubi out of her, subjugated Kurama to a very strong genjutsu and made it to attack the village. He even tried to kill me so that I couldn't stop the Kyuubi from killing everyone in the village. I admit, he was very strong and almost got me, but I managed to defeat him and force him to escape. I then had to fight the Kyuubi. Your mother, by being ripped apart from her Bijuu, was already on the verge of death. She offered to seal the fox back into her and die with it, but in that case, in some years Kurama would have reformed. As you see, a Bijuu can't die until you start dealing with Otsutsuki bullshit, but you should be fine there, but that's like 15 years out from now. Butterfly effect shouldn't cause those incidents to get pushed up by a decade or so, it shouldn't do that, right? The masked man, before escaping, told me that he would destroy the world. I knew that he would come back for the Kyuubi again, so I decided to entrust you with the Kyuubi's power and believe that you would take that man down and save the world. SSO, was that why you sealed the fox inside me? Yes, though I sealed only half of the Kyuubi inside you and took the other half with me to the Shinigami's stomach through the Reaper death seal, but due to some interesting events, you now have the full Kurama inside you and he can be trusted. If you say so, Dad, I will trust him. BBUTYUD, do love me, right? Naruto asked teary-eyed. Minato embraced him tightly in response. Inwardly he was cursing himself for the failure of a father he had been. Hey man, not your fault, well mostly. You probably could have come up with some other way to seal Kurama that didn't involve you dying, but whatever. Of course, I love you a lot, son. You and your mother are the greatest gifts I ever received. I love you too, Dad. It's just that people told me that I was abandoned for being a demon. Minato tightened his fists. Idiotic bastards, he spat. We could never abandon you, son. Both your mom and I love you a lot, and we always will. Thank you, said Naruto, wiping his tears away and giving a smile. Now, I will release the seal so that you and Kurama can work together without hindrance, but then my chakra will fade away. I am sorry that I have to leave again so soon, my boy. What? But I just got to know my dad, I have a lot to talk about. You haven't told me anything about mom yet, don't go, please. See. Naruto pleaded. I am sorry, son, but I must open this seal. Jiraiya-sensei won't trust Kurama as easily, and it will take years for him to entrust you with the key, so I must do this now. Don't worry though, I sealed some of Kushina's chakra in the seal too, so you can talk to her when she appears. Really? I can meet mom too? Yes, you can, after I open the seal. Oh, okay. Then Minato charged up his remaining chakra and opened the seal. After that his astral body started fading away. I guess this is it, son. Just know that. Not if I can help it, said Kurama and supplied Minato with a little bit of chakra. Minato's body solidified again. The fourth Hokage couldn't believe what just happened. This was simple yet brilliant. I can continuously supply a very small fraction of my chakra. This will keep you here as long as the Gaki lives, so you are staying here for a long time, Yondaime. Though you will just be a voice inside his head, but it's far better than simply fading away. Kurama. Thank you so much, said Naruto, teary-eyed in joy. He won't be alone anymore, his father will always be with him. Even if he will just be a voice inside his head, it was better than anything he could have asked for. Well, seeing that Naruto doesn't have to fight you to gain control over your powers, we can bring Kushina out too, commented Minato with a smile. Is that? Naruto asked in anticipation. Yes, Naruto, Kushina Uzumaki, the woman who had been the light of my life and your mother, her chakra is in this seal too. The Jinchuriki was teary-eyed again as Minato concentrated his chakra and went through a few hand seals in rapid succession. When he finished, a glow of chakra appeared from the now opened seal, the chakra flew and settled in front of the father and son and took the form of a woman. When Naruto observed her, he found that he had no words to describe the woman in front of him. She wore simple clothes, had shining red hair that went down beyond her waist, and she was just too beautiful. When she looked at Naruto, the blonde boy was overwhelmed by the affection he received from her. Never before had he felt so much loved. The boy just ran up to Kushina and jumped and hugged her with all his might and cried again, shouting "Mom," in between his sobs. Kushina couldn't help crying herself. She had seen the terrible childhood he has had up to that point. She even had the misfortune to experience Kurama's memories of Naruto's death in the other timeline. Before walking up to them, Minato bowed to the nine-tailed fox. "Kurama, can you please?" the former Hokage requested, the Kyuubi bowing down. The fox was actually amused with such a gesture. "Don't mention it," Kurama replied while supplying a little bit of chakra to Kushina, which stabilized her. Kushina looked at her husband in a bit of confusion and saw that he was also getting a small continuous supply of chakra from the Kyuubi like herself. "Honey, is this what I think it is?" "Yes, Kushina-chan, Kurama has stabilized our bodies with a continuous chakra supply, so we will be here for Naruto for as long as he lives," Minato replied, smiling. "That's amazing, Databane," the redhead shouted. Upon hearing his mom's verbal tick, Naruto got startled for a moment and then he grinned. "Mom has a verbal tick similar to me, Databeo," the younger blonde shouted. "Databeo, huh? You really are my son, Naruto," Kushina said, giggling. "I had a thought that you two were going to be alike, but I never imagined you two would be so much alike," said Minato, rubbing his hand at the back of his head as he approached his wife and son. "Only if I had red hair like Mom, I would look even cooler," Naruto exclaimed. "Huh? So you also like my hair color?" Kushina giggled. "Hey, what's wrong with my hair color?" Minato fake complained. "What a touching family reunion," commented Kurama, grinning. "Oh, thanks for everything, Fuzzball," said Kushina, thanking the Kyuubi. Kurama sweat dropped at his new nickname. "Oh, that's such a cool name," Naruto exclaimed. "Don't get any bright ideas, Gaki," Kurama warned, only for his warning to fall on deaf ears. "That's right. That's what you are, one huge fuzzball," Naruto exclaimed again. The nine-tailed fox sighed, knowing that for a long time he would be having this new nickname. Minato giggled at the antics of his son and wife. "Definitely a lot alike. I just hope Naruto's wife turns out a bit like me." Meanwhile, at the Konoha hospital, even though being unconscious, Hinata sneezed. Okay. I now have lot of things to ask. How did you two fall in love? How did you become Hokage, Dad? What was the interesting thing that happened 6 years ago?" Naruto questioned, breathlessly excited to learn almost everything about his parents. "Slow down a bit, son. I know we have a lot to talk, but I feel that you are very tired of today's training, so you should rest a bit for now. We can talk tomorrow," said Minato. "But Dad..." "Now Naru-chan, as much as I hate to admit it, your dad is right. You do look tired. Don't worry, it's not like we are going anywhere," said Kushina to reassure her son. "Okay, if you say so," Naruto sighed. "Speaking of your training, just how dare that pervert throw my baby off that cliff?" "He's so dead, Databane," said Kushina, cracking her knuckles. Even Minato cracked his knuckles at this. Meanwhile, sleeping at an inn somewhere in Konoha, a certain white-haired Sannin felt a chill through his spine. He discarded his thoughts soon, though, and went back to his dreams of a certain blonde-haired woman with huge bosoms. Back in his house, Naruto fell asleep peacefully with a grin plastered on his face. After all these years, he was finally not alone anymore. Naruto woke up with a groan as sunlight fell on his face. "Oh. Come on, morning already," the blonde complained. "Come on, Naru-chan, don't you have training to do?" Kushina said from inside his mindscape. Naruto suddenly shouted, "Moem, you're still here." Shhhhh. Not so loud, we can hear what you want to say if you just think about it, and I guess it will be better for the time being if you keep your knowledge of us secret as well as releasing Kurama's seal. I am sure the third will freak out if he sees that your seal is open, and I would love to see Jiraiya-sensei's face when he sees the open seal too," said Minato. "That reminds me, Gigi never told me about you whenever I asked, damned old man. I kind of figured that you won't be told about us for a long time, Naruto. The third perhaps did this to protect you from our enemies. You see, I am not exactly loved in Iwa and Kumo. Kumo had even tried to kidnap Kushina in her childhood. Apart from that, certain elements in the village hated me too. So that's why the third perhaps has kept your heritage a secret from you. I am certain that very few people in the village even know about you being our son in the first place." Naruto sighed. Kushina could only ruffle his hair to comfort him. "Although I would like to know why Jiraiya-sensei or Kakashi didn't show up in your life earlier. For Kami's sake we made that old pervert your godfather," Minato said angrily. At that time both Jiraiya and Kakashi felt chills down their spines. "Let's get back to Naruto-chan's training, Minato-kun," said Kushina, uncharacteristically letting her frustration on the two perverts slide for the time being. "Alright, so son, who are you facing this time?" "Neji Hyuga," Naruto spat. "Well, so you're facing Hisashi's son in the first round then. If he is anything like his father was, then he will be a formidable opponent." "How do you know about Neji being Hisashi's son?" "Kurama's memories? That guy is an asshole." Naruto spat again. "Don't let your anger consume you, son. If you want to keep your blood vow, then you have to prepare a strategy since you are facing a stronger opponent. Now before you think of using Kurama's powers, let me remind you that you mustn't use it unless absolutely necessary, and definitely not before the whole village. I don't even know how much of my power this younger body of yours can handle, Gaki. So instead we will be taking it step by step, a bit slowly." Kurama commented, much to Naruto's increasing frustration. "So, what do I do to kick that prick's ass?" Naruto asked. If you already know who your opponent is, you should start collecting as much information about him as possible," Minato suggested. "Okay. I think if I ask Bushy Brows, Kiba or Shino, they might give me some insight about the stuck-up prick." Naruto summoned 3 shadow clones. "You 3 are to meet up with Kiba, Shino, and Bushy Brows and get any information about Neji and report back to me." "Wait a minute, son, you can get their memories back if they simply dispel and they don't have to physically return to you. It will be a waste of time," Minato explained. "What? This is a special property of the Shadow Clone Jutsu. The Nidaime Hokage created it as an infiltration technique." "That's so awesome," Naruto exclaimed. "Alright, you 3 dispel after collecting the information. Understood?" "Yes, boss," the shadow clones saluted and took off. "Now Naruto, we need to work on your jutsu arsenal. Since you are facing a Hyuga and Hisashi's son no less, you must prepare for the worst." "What do you mean, Dad?" "The Hyuga have an almost impenetrable defense technique known as the Kaiten or 8 trigrams, heavenly rotation. This jutsu can repel almost all ninjutsu attacks and you can't physically approach them either, as the Kaiten will throw you back." "So that means I can't get close to him?" "Don't worry, I know a jutsu that will be a perfect counter to the Kaiten." "What is it?" Naruto asked, excited. "The Rasengan, an A-rank jutsu I invented." Minato then held out his palm and soon a spiraling sphere of chakra was created on it. Naruto was starry-eyed when he saw the jutsu. "That's freaking awesome, Databeo." "Thanks, son." In the real world, Naruto held out his palm and tried to focus chakra on it, only for nothing to happen. The blonde groaned in frustration. "Not so fast," Minato said from the mindscape, while Naruto could hear his mother giggling. "There are 3 phases to train with for performing the Rasengan. Okay. For the first phase, go and get a lot of water balloons. Huh? Gotta love those seemingly nonsensical training methods that get people thinking you're eccentric or insane. An hour later. Why is this so damn difficult? A certain blonde kid shouted, holding a water balloon in his hand. Don't get so impatient, son. It took 3 years for me to create this jutsu. When I showed it to Jiraiya-sensei, he took 6 months to master it. It's an A-rank jutsu after all. Oh come on, Dad, you know I don't have that much time for the finals. Naruto complained. You can use your shadow clones for training as well. Huh? Naruto asked, momentarily confused, then it hit him. I am such an idiot. The blonde exclaimed and created 20 shadow clones, each picked up a water balloon and tried to burst it by rotating chakra. In the meantime, Naruto-chan, you can use some shadow clones to work on your chakra control. It will be helpful for you to master the Rasengan and any other jutsus you'll learn in the future. Kushina suggested. Good idea, Kushi-chan. Naruto. Make 20 more shadow clones and have them practice some exercises while water walking, 20 more to practice tree walking while keeping a leaf on their foreheads. As far as the Rasengan is concerned, try to rotate the chakra in multiple directions. You are rotating in one direction only. For today that will be enough training, and don't forget to meet up with Jiraiya-sensei and behave like your usual self. We don't want anybody to suspect anything for now. Explained Minato. Okay, Dad, I will have some breakfast and meet up with Erosenin. You guys. Get this balloon busted by sunset. Am I the only one who feels like that sentence doesn't sound right? Then Naruto summoned 40 more shadow clones and, as per Minato's suggestion, sent 20 of them to do the water walking exercises and 20 more to perfect the tree walking exercise. At sunset, Naruto was on his way back from a training session with Jiraiya. The two spent most of their time in perfecting summons. Due to his better chakra control, Naruto was able to summon any toads he wanted. He was cautious enough to avoid using Kurama's chakra so as not to make the toad sage suspicious. However, he was able to summon a number of toads from size of a few inches to almost 5 feet in height. His first summon of the day was a small toad called Gamakichi. The toad was funny. Due to an earlier instruction from Minato, Naruto had remembered to keep some food items with himself for the toads. After offering Gamakichi a candy, the two hit it off quite well. His next summon was another toad of similar size as Gamakichi called Gamatatsu. Of all the toads he summoned throughout the day, Gamakichi and Gamatatsu were the ones Naruto thought were the coolest. By the end of the day, the three were buddies. However, the two small toads were not useful for a fight at that time. So, he had to summon larger toads. He found out that the toads mostly used fire and water style jutsus and some carried swords. However, he figured that his summons would not be of much use against Neji. Jiraiya also agreed with that. The toad sage stated that they would spar continuously from the next day onwards in order to improve Naruto's speed. After seeing the toads use elemental jutsu, something had clicked inside Naruto's mind and he asked Jiraiya to teach him some jutsu like the ones the toads used. Also seeing Sasuke use different types of fire-style jutsus, Naruto was a little jealous that he couldn't pull off stuff like that. After pondering over it a little, Jiraiya had agreed, unlike the previous timeline, to figure out Naruto's natural affinity and work on some elemental jutsus. On the way, suddenly memories of a dispelled clone came back to the blonde. Hell yeah, the blonde shouted on the road, making some passers-by glance at him with disgust. As usual, Naruto noticed the disgust in their glares but paid no mind. He wasn't alone anymore after all. He ran home. By that time, the clones that were practicing balloon bursting had dispelled. Just to be sure, Naruto picked up another water balloon, rotated his chakra through it, and it burst in seconds. Did you see that? Naruto said loudly as he jumped in excitement. Well done, son, that was the fastest anyone mastered the first stage of the Rasengan, said Minato as Naruto found himself back in his mindscape. Minato then patted his shoulders. So tell me the next step, Dad. I can't wait to master the Rasengan. Alright, I will tell you, but take rest for now and dispel the clones that were practicing chakra control. Don't make them dispel all at once, otherwise you'll suffer severe headache and nausea. Naruto nodded and made a shadow clone to go to the other clones practicing chakra control, have them dispelled according to Minato's instructions. What about the clones you sent to collect information on Neji, Naru-chan? Kushina asked. Well Mom, Kiba didn't have that much information. He mentioned that Hinata-chan is faster than him in taijutsu and Neji should be even faster. It seems, Hinata-chan doesn't talk much about her family with her teammates. The one visiting Shino also got a similar response. However, surprisingly, the clone visiting Bushibrows got a lot of info. So, what have you got? Well, when my clone visited Lee at the hospital, Bushibrows sensei was also there with Lee and their other teammate Tenten. Although they were Neji's sensei and teammates, they did not hesitate to talk about Neji's fighting style. According to Guy Sensei, although Neji is not expected to know a lot of Hyuga main branch moves, he does happen to know moves like the 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Tenten confirmed that Neji does know the Kaiten, but he's just learned it and is still trying to master it, which she knew because she had been helping him. Lee mentioned something about 8 trigrams, 128 palms, which is an improved version of the 64 palm technique. Lee said that in order to escape the hits from those technique he has to use the second or even the third gate, although he mentioned that was with his weights on. I don't know if I can pull that off, so I am basically toast if Neji hits me with that technique since all my tenketsus will be closed. Not quite gawky, unlike that Lee kid, I can open your chakra points if the Hyuga closes them, so don't worry about that. Also, regarding escaping his hits, you can create a chakra cloak by drawing on my chakra. A one-tailed version 1 cloak will be enough for you to escape his hits. I will teach it to you in a week, it won't be that difficult for you. After thinking a bit, I realized that your body can manage up to 3 to 4 tails of my chakra in version 1 cloak. I will teach you about it next week when we start training on it. Kurama explained, much to Naruto's joy and satisfaction. Do you know Mom, Bushibrows sensei and Bushibrows explained all this to me knowing that I was going to fight their own team member. They said that I do have a right to learn about my opponent before my fight and it's unyouthful to deny information to a comrade. They are really cool. Bushibrows sensei even agreed to work with me every morning to improve my speed and taijutsu. That's really nice of Guy. Learn as much from him as you can, son. He is the best taijutsu user in Konoha and quite possibly he might even be the greatest taijutsu master in all 5 great nations. However, promise me that you'll not go around screaming about youth every day. Dear God, please no. Editor shivers in horror. You got not only me scared but also Speedwagon as well. Even Speedwagon is afraid. And don't wear that green spandex ever, Databane, Kushina said aloud. Please don't unleash that horror. Come on Mom, that jumpsuit looks cool, it won't be that bad to try it. Absolutely not. Minato, Kushina and Kurama all shouted at the same time. Naruto sighed in defeat. Alright. Alright. I won't wear a green spandex suit, don't worry. Good, said Kushina. Thank God. Naruto had something he wanted to ask his mom about, but his mind kept drifting back to what happened in the hospital mere moments before his clone dispelled. The clone had its hands in the sign to dispel itself when a voice he had just finished speaking to called out. Hey, Naruto. Team Guy's markswoman, Tenten, approached as the source of the call. Naruto acknowledged Tenten before she started speaking. Look, I know you have that blood vow and all, but your chances of actually winning against Neji are practically non-existent. I know asking you to just give up is probably not going to go over well. So how about this? I know people when they realize they are going to lose or can't possibly win in these exams against their opponents instead try to spite their opponents by rendering them unable to advance as well, either by crippling or hurting them too badly to go on. Not if when, you get into that spot against Neji, please don't screw him over out of spite, what do you say? Tenten's attempt at a smile became shaky as the air in the room became cold and Naruto's grin became so frigid and his eyes shut for a moment. Naruto started, sure, I promise I won't screw Neji team over when I realize I can't beat him. Tenten let out a sigh of relief and she spoke, thanks for th dash. Because he won't even get me to that point, Databeo. Tenten's breath caught as Naruto's eyes opened back up, the blue having become blood red and his pupils became slits. I will be making him pay. He could have just let Hinata-chan off easy and just finished that joke of a fight quickly and left her maybe a little down, but he wanted to break her. Any chance of getting off easy is already gone for Neji, I'm going to break him for it. He's going to be leaving that arena a bloodied pulp I beat him into before I go to the next round. Tenten was terrified by the calm tone of voice he used throughout his spiel. This wasn't a threat but a promise, and the words she heard him say once made it all the more chilling, I never go back on my word. Before anything else could be said, Guy burst in, yosh. Naruto-kun, if you wish, I would be proud to instruct you on taijutsu in preparation for the third exam. Naruto smiled widely, thanks Guy-sensei, I'll be sure to take you up on it. Tenten's fear became absolute horror as the likelihood of Neji's defeat became absolute. Just before Naruto's clone could dispel, Tenten's horror drove her to say one final thing. Oh fuck. Mom, do you mind if I ask you something? Naruto asked a tad nervously. No, I don't mind, what is it Naruto-chan? Well, you see, my clone that visited Lee at the hospital also snuck into Hinata-chan's room, said Naruto in a sad voice. You see, she's not allowed visitors yet. She was just sitting there on the bed, lying unconscious, with all sorts of tubes all over her body. Seeing her like that, I felt a pain in my chest. I really felt helpless. I have never felt this sad for someone and I don't know why I feel this way, so why? Naruto said looking down. Kushina hugged her son and rubbed his back a bit. Naru-chan, I think you are falling in love with her. Kushina said smiling, Minato smiled as well. From your memories we can say that she is a really kind and nice girl, she will be great for you. Kushina further explained, hoping to hook the two together as soon as possible. From Kurama's memories of the previous timeline, Minato and Kushina were very distressed over Naruto's painful death and his regrets about Hinata in his dying moments. Naruto looked at his mother and gave a smile. But I must tell her about Kurama. I kinda want to tell her everything now. Do you think she will accept me after knowing that? Son, I see a lot of myself in her, I am sure she will accept you and stand by you no matter what, said Minato. Naruto smiled again. Alright, I will visit her as soon as she wakes up and I will tell her everything. Now son, let's get to the next step of the Rasengan. For that you need to repeat the first step but with a hard rubber ball instead of a water balloon. It is about strengthening your rotation. Got it Dad? I will get it down in no time Databeo. Saying that Naruto wished his parents good night, had dinner and went to sleep. Starting the next day, his training was about to become a lot harder going forward. Though unbeknownst to the Uzumaki family, a spy had been watching Naruto. A woman dressed in an ANBU uniform with a crop top that had one full sleeve while the other arm was completely uncovered from shoulder to wrist with a plain white mask with the leaf crest of Konoha and the kanji for root on the mask. With some modifications to the overall ensemble. Her mission had been watching Naruto to gather information for conscripting him into root and the eventual conscription. She had followed through and found her suppressed emotions began to bubble up as ancient memories from long-gone days surfaced from the woman's observations. His hair and eyes brought back some vague flashbacks of a man whose presence she would describe as the closest to reassuring. And the boy's way of talking reminded her of a woman with waist-long red hair with a very lively smile. The vague flashbacks made her feel uneasy, very uneasy. However, she was able to suppress the unease, she had been trained well after all. The only thing that could necessitate a need to report to Danzo was the Jinchuriki's sudden change in behavior starting yesterday. The change wasn't really noticeable to someone not trained in surveillance and espionage. However, to one of the best trained root agents, such things were easier to notice. The boy was slowly starting to talk less and was not paying attention to others abhorring him. This was a change necessitating a report to her boss. Her mission demanded she do it, but the masked root found herself unwilling to do so, as if she was struggling against herself in this endeavor. Even before this mission started, sometimes seeing the shinobi of her own age made this woman feel uneasy and brought her some flashbacks. Flashbacks in which she found herself to be an entirely different person, lively, laughing and smiling with them, why and how she couldn't tell. And as a perfect shinobi in service of Konoha, she was required to get rid of all these emotions. All those flashbacks served no purpose except for obstructing her from carrying out her duty. But suppressing those vague memories was for some reason painful. And once the mission to observe Uzumaki Naruto had started, that subtle hidden pain started to resurface. The flashbacks became more frequent, starting to cause fission in her mind. Time would tell where this would go. But at that moment, the woman for some reason found herself instinctively state, "You do your parents proud, Uzumaki Naruto." One day after bursting a water balloon, Naruto was standing in a clearing in front of a tree, sweating heavily due to the continuous jutsu practice since the last 2 hours. The blonde was practicing wind style, great breakthrough, a D-rank wind style, Futon, jutsu, his very first elemental ninjutsu. His task was to break several branches of a tree, some 15 feet away from him using the said jutsu. So far, the endeavor hadn't succeeded. Flashback. So Ero-sennin, are you going to teach me any kick-ass elemental ninjutsu today? Naruto asked to Jiraiya, who was feigning ignorance towards the boy. Not so fast, Gaki, and can't you call me Jiraiya-sensei ever? I call you the way I see you, you are a pervert and you call yourself a sage, so it's pretty easy to give you a nickname, the blonde replied somewhat irritated. I have told you several times already, I am not a pervert, I am a Jiraiya was cut off by Naruto's grumbling. Oh. Come on, I get it, you are a super pervert. Now shall we get back to some awesome ninjutsu Ero-sennin, the blonde shouted. Jiraiya sighed thinking how much his apprentice resembled his mother. In the meantime, within Naruto's mindscape. If I ever get out and see him, I'll bloody castrate this pervert, Databane. Kushina shouted. Meanwhile Minato was thinking why he had made the said pervert Naruto's godfather. Back to Naruto and Jiraiya. Why do I feel like I might get the beating of a lifetime if I keep showing off the ways of the pervert to this kid? Well, never mind, Jiraiya thought and then brought his attention back to his apprentice. Gaki, first let's determine your chakra affinity. Jiraiya said while giving Naruto a chakra paper. The blonde looked at it attentively. So, Naruto, channel a bit of your chakra to this paper. If it gets wrinkled it means that you have lightning, it gets soaked if you have water, gets burnt if you have fire, sliced into two for wind and earth if it crumbles into dust. Naruto nodded, held the paper between his middle and forefingers and channeled a bit of chakra into it. The paper got cleanly sliced into 2 pieces and the both pieces burnt down. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. So, both wind and fire, huh? Not bad at all, 2 attacking type chakra natures. Interesting, but seeing the refinedness of the cut, I guess your wind affinity is stronger than the fire. So, we should start with wind nature. Can you tell me what's special about wind element Ero-sennin? Well, it's an attacking type element and good for medium range attacks. However, it can be applied in ways that both short and long ranges fairly well. Short range especially, if you ever see Asuma fight with those trench blades of his, it's pretty emblematic of how wind is best used at short range by concentrating it to slice opponents to chunks. Can be used to keep your opponents at a distance. It's stronger against lightning and weaker against fire. Luckily, you have a fire affinity that compensates for the weakness of the wind element. Wouldn't wind strengthen fire if the 2 elements combine? Astute observation. Yup, that's how it works after all. Jiraiya replied. Okay, so what jutsu will you teach me? How to raise a storm, create a tornado maybe. Then Garnos? Sorry Naruto, you aren't Dragonborn. I typed that and then the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim theme started playing. Hold your horses Gaki, you can't do stuff like that yet. Besides I have never heard of any shinobi who can create a storm through a jutsu. Some things are just the nature's forte. Here, I got a basic jutsu for every element for you. Since we are starting with wind, you should get this one down first. Jiraiya added. Naruto opened the scroll. Wind style, great breakthrough. Rank D. When mastered, the user can release a blast of wind from his mouth. Interesting. Let's see if it can throw that bastard Niji's ass out of the arena or not. Naruto thought. Might shove the stick even further if Niji lands just the right/wrong way. Jiraiya demonstrated him the jutsu and showed him the hand signs. Then told him that if he can break at least 10 branches off a tree with the jutsu, he could consider it done. Then the sage left the blonde to do his research. Flashback ends. Damn Erosenin and his damned research. He really has it easy. Naruto grumbled to himself. It has been 2 hours since Jiraiya had left. So far, the blonde had been able to cut a few leaves off a branch only. Naruto sighed, and then suddenly a bright light bulb went off in his head, blinding all the 3 tenants there. The blonde created 50 shadow clones. Let's get this damned jutsu down in 3 hours, boys. Naruto ordered. Yes, sir. All the clones replied, saluting. The clones then left the area and went away a bit further to practice. Then the blonde created 10 more shadow clones and had them transformed into birds, insects, and even rocks. Keep an eye out for Erosenin around the area and dispel if you see him. Naruto ordered, and the clones got to their work immediately. If only Jiraiya was this meticulous when peeping. Son. Naruto heard Minato call him from inside his mindscape. Yes, Dad? There are some special exercises to master wind manipulation and every other element. For wind manipulation, pick up a leaf and try to cut it with your chakra just like you sliced the chakra paper into 2. If you do it, then mastering wind-based jutsu becomes easier. On it, Dad. Naruto then created 20 more shadow clones and had them working on the leaf-cutting exercise. He had also left 10 clones in his apartment to work on bursting the rubber ball. 4 hours later, Jiraiya returned to see Naruto's progress. The clones that had transformed into birds had alerted the blonde in time, and Naruto had dispelled all the clones present in the area. Then the exhaustion of all the clones hit him. Jiraiya found him lying on the ground, totally worn out. Looks like you worked really hard, Gaki, so how much progress did you make? The Toad Sage asked. Naruto, already out of breath, pointed at a tree. Jiraiya saw that 6 branches were cut off and thrown at least 20 feet away from the tree. Jiraiya knew that the blonde won't get the jutsu down in one day, but cutting 6 branches off was still good progress. I must say you made good progress, Gaki. I am sure you will get it down tomorrow. We still have 25 days for the finals, so don't get too worked up on this and get some rest. Let's call it a day here. All right, Erosenin, I will get this jutsu down tomorrow for sure. Just you watch, Naruto replied as he got up head home. The teacher and student then parted for the day. As far as the leaf-cutting exercise was concerned, Naruto's clones had succeeded in cutting the leaf almost halfway. The Jinchuriki was confident of getting it done the next day. The next day, early in the morning, Naruto joined Mato Guy in his early morning workout. Guy asked him to make 10 laps around the village and 100 sets of push-ups after that. Then the two worked on Naruto's basic taijutsu stance. Guy worked with Naruto for 2 hours and made him try various stances of various taijutsu styles to see which one suited the blonde the most. Unfortunately for both, none of the stances seemed to come naturally to the blonde. Guy then had an idea. He made the blonde try out the taijutsu style of the dragon's fist. To Naruto's pleasure, he was able to naturally settle into the stance. Looks like this style can bring out your flames of youth the best way possible, Naruto Kyuen. The spandex-wearing Jonin exclaimed. So as to not insult Guy, Naruto struggled hard to not cover his ears. So how exactly do Bushibrows and his teammates put up with Guy-sensei's ultra-loud yelling? Ha! And I am called loudmouthed. I swear I can be considered a silent person compared to him, Naruto thought while Guy gave him his nice guy pose. Yes, Guy-sensei. This stance feels quite comfortable and natural to me. This is the initial stance of the Dragon Fist style, an ancient taijutsu form not seen ever since the Warring States period, and there were very few people who were able to master it. Guy explained a bit seriously. So, if I master this, I will be a legendary ninja databao. Naruto exclaimed. Indeed. I believe your flames of youth burn bright enough to master this youthful style. Let's get to training quickly, Guy-sensei. I will get this form mastered in no time. Guy raised his hand and Naruto immediately got into attention. Naruto-kun, this is an ancient technique which does not follow a set of stances or hitting styles like the Juken, gentle fist, or Goken, the hard fist. Rather, a master of Dragon Fist unpredictably switches through moves of various stances. The only known user of this form are the Shodai Hokage Hashirama Senju. Again, this style is ancient and I doubt if any useful scrolls for this style are still here in the village. However, I will talk to Hokage-sama about it and I am sure we will find something out. Till then we will work on your speed and dodging. Understood, Guy-sensei. Replied Naruto, a bit depressed that he will have to wait till Guy obtained any scrolls for the Dragon Fist technique. Tomorrow we will do 20 laps around the village and 120 push-ups. May the flames of youth burn brightly within you. Guy exclaimed as Naruto bid farewell to his new and overenthusiastic taijutsu instructor. Is it just me or does Guy's training method feel like Saitama's? Also, Naruto, these would be drastically improved with a certain someone there to suffer/train alongside you. Naruto had a quick breakfast at Ichiraku's. Then he went to his apartment and created 10 clones to work on bursting the rubber ball and he went away. He then set 10 more to work on the leaf-cutting exercise. However, the blonde found out that leaving so many shadow clones at home was not a very bright idea. The clones would empty all his instant ramen whenever they felt hungry. So, the blonde decided to change the situation. Jiraiya and Naruto met up near the same cliff where the Sannin had pushed the blonde over the edge. It had become their regular training spot. Hey Sannin, yesterday I figured something interesting about my shadow clone jutsu. And what is that, Gaki? You see, yesterday after leaving from here I decided to spar a bit with a clone. After I landed a hit and dispelled it, I felt like watching myself get hit. Then I summoned another clone and hit it again and the same feeling came back when it dispelled. It seems I get their memories back when they dispel. Jiraiya smiled. So, you finally figured it out, Gaki. Good for you. You see, that's a property of the shadow clone jutsu. The user gets the memories of the clones back when they dispel. So, if I use them for training here, I suppose I can get the jutsu down faster? Yeah. You can, kid. Alright, you'd better go get some new jutsu for me. I will have this one down in 3 hours, databao. Then Naruto summoned 100 clones and had them all practice the wind style, great breakthrough on a similar number of unsuspecting trees. Jiraiya as usual left to do his research. True to his word, Naruto managed to break 10 branches. He then decided to strengthen this jutsu and continued practicing. Setting himself the blow out a tree with great breakthrough alone by the time of finals. Seeing that Jiraiya was not around yet, Naruto set out to continue the leaf-cutting exercise and just like before he had some clones to keep watch. 3 hours later he had managed to cut the leaf 70%. He hoped to complete the exercise by the next day or two. When Jiraiya came back, he found that Naruto had exceeded his expectations by taking out 15 branches of a tree. Impressed, the Toad Sage decided to get the blonde working on his next jutsu. When Naruto got back to his apartment, he groaned at not making any progress with the second step of his Rasengan training. However, his parents assured that he was making progress. Before going to bed, Naruto decided to head to the hospital to check up on Hinata, or we can say that he felt being pulled there. So, at night he sneaked into Hinata's room, bypassing all nurses and doctors there. This was no big deal for Konoha's #1 prankster. He can sneak into places with even higher security without breaking a sweat, and a hospital was nothing for him. When Naruto got to saw Hinata still unconscious lying on the hospital bed, being fed by a saline tube and all sorts of instruments wired to her, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. It hit him harder than the memories of the clone that had visited her earlier. The blonde pulled a stool and sat down by her side and kept looking at her. Seeing her like that, he became teary-eyed without even realizing. Slowly he reached for her hand and gently held it with both of his hands. "Hinata-chan, I don't even know how I started calling you Chan, but it feels just right for me, and I feel a lot of pain seeing you like this." Naruto then gently held her hand and rubbed his thumb over it. He felt another warm sensation in his heart, similar to the one he felt when he met his parents. "This feeling is similar to when I met Dad and Mom, am I really?" The blonde was indeed coming to terms with what he felt for Hinata. He then proceeded to place her hand on his own forehead and held it there while closing his eyes. He couldn't help shed a few tears while watching her like this. "Sakura-chan told me that I somehow inspired you. I don't know if there is anything about me that can be inspiring for anyone, but I am honored if you feel like that for me. And I will be glad if we could be much more than friends, Hinata-chan." Saying that, Naruto carefully put her hand where it was, moved his fingers through her hair for a few minutes, and rubbed her cheeks. He spent almost 2 hours in Hinata's hospital room that night, and while leaving, somehow, he felt like an invisible force pulling him back towards her, and under the influence of the same invisible force, somehow Naruto ended up by her side again. Somehow his face came closer to hers, and somehow his lips got pressed against her forehead. Suddenly Naruto came to his senses and jumped back, his face all red. "What the hell did I just do? What were you thinking kissing her like that, Naruto?" he screamed to himself. Then a random thought of what would have it felt like if he had kissed her on the lips entered his mind and made his face even redder. Naruto shook his head violently to throw out any such thoughts. "Bad, Naruto. Bad. You can't kiss her without her consent. Damned Erosenin is rubbing off on me." Then Naruto took some deep breaths to calm himself. "All right. Must ask her out after she wakes up and confess everything to her," the blonde thought to himself. He then again went to her side and rubbed her hand with his. "Get well soon, Hinata-chan," he almost whispered to her, and then left. Inside his mindscape, Minato, Kushina and Kurama had thoroughly enjoyed the whole scene. They were quite pleased with Naruto being so considerate and affectionate towards Hinata. Minato and Kushina had already chosen her as their daughter-in-law. Unlike Naruto, they had no reservations about Hinata ever rejecting their son because of his burden, and quite rightly so. That night Hinata stirred of for the first time since being hospitalized. Section. And that's where we'll be ending today's video. The Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5 have already changed everything, and Naruto's second chance is only just beginning. With the Bijuu placing their trust in Naruto Uzumaki once again, the future of the ninja world may finally start to change, but destiny won't be defeated so easily. Will Naruto be able to fix the mistakes of the past and protect the people he cares about this time around? Or will history repeat itself once again? If you enjoyed this fanfic, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another chapter. And let me know down in the comments, what changes do you think Naruto should make first after getting his second chance? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next chapter. Stay tuned.